This is New Cap Sports.
Hello, sports fans. Thanks for tuning in to New Cap TV's Sports Year in Review. I'm Lance Phillips. This year, we've assembled 4 of the area's preeminent sports figures for exclusive one-on-one interviews. We recap an exciting, and for some, forgetful 2016, what to expect in 2017, and yeah, we let them brag about their respective programs. We'll start in Bonnyville with a man who many would call the face of the AJHL's Bonnyville Pontiacs. He's not only the team's head coach and general manager, he's also a mentor, life coach, and friend to players and staff alike. Having the opportunity to sit down with Rick Swan was, well, in a word, inspirational. So thank you very much for taking a minute. I really appreciate it today.
Thanks for being here.
Hey, it's really fantastic. Yeah. I wanted to talk to you, first of all, about this World Junior A tournament you have coming up. You went from a guest coach last year to now an assistant coach. How does that progression help your team, the Bonnyville Pontiacs, going forward this season?
Well, you know, I think maybe from a recruiting perspective, often people have to Google where Bonnyville, Alberta is in the Alberta Junior Hockey League when you're trying to get good kids that are from out of province to your organization, which you think that is deserving of being a consideration for kids that want to become better players and better people. And the number one thing, having the World Junior A Challenge in Bonnyville certainly puts us on the map. And then for myself to be a part of it is a pretty special feeling, just with the tight-knit community that we have here. But also provides some recognition from a recruiting standpoint that they've got a coach with the Bonnyville Pontiacs that are hosting and being a part of the World Junior A Championships. Is something that I think that will help our organization to bring good quality kids in here because of the recognition that it's going to create for us.
That was the next question I was going to ask you. You mentioned about how it's being special. What does it mean to you to progress up those ranks in the World Junior A from guest coach to assistant coach?
You know, it's just fantastic from an individual standpoint. You know, I think that being a Junior A hockey coach, if you have the mindset of being an everyday learner, then you're going to stay in the game for a long time. This game evolves so much and there's so much to learn. To be able to be involved and network with coaches that are as high ranking in the Junior A ranks from a peer perspective and be able to share knowledge with them, but more importantly to be able to learn from coaches like that have experience only make you better. And you see what other organizations do, what other general managers do, because that's what they do with their other hat with a coaching capacity. And for us to share that knowledge and information just goes more so motivates you because it's fresh and new, and that you learn from other people that are also competent people. So to be around great hockey people makes you better, and that's what really drives me and motivates me to get involved in situations like that. We have a supportive organization that understand that it's a double win. I'm not going to be with the team during the month of December, but they also know that I'm getting better as a coach and as a person from being involved in opportunities like that I can bring back to the team and hopefully help make them better with those experiences that I have.
Culture. Could you sum up the culture of the Pontiacs in 1 to 2 sentences? If you were to put it in 1 to 2 sentences, could you do it?
Yeah, you know, it'd be pretty difficult. Culture is such a...
Yeah, it is huge. What would you say the culture that you're trying to or have developed here in Bonnyville is?
You know, I would think that we try and strive for a culture of excellence, and that's to ensure that we live and we play to a standard that we don't tolerate subpar performance from ourselves, and that includes a head coach perspective. And every day I better be intentional and I better be purposeful, because we want to make sure that that standard that we have here is not going to be where it is in the past here. And that's also making sure that we have zero tolerance for subpar performance from anybody else around us. And we want to do things right. We want to treat people right. It's a privilege to play in Bonnyville, from the facilities that we have and the great volunteers that give so much of themselves to make sure that our players have everything that they need in order to be a better hockey player, and then more importantly a better person. And it's that pride in every single thing that we do in terms of how we approach people on the streets, how we welcome people, that want to know more about our organization, and it's for us is that privilege and pride that we got a responsibility here as players coming into our organization to know that there's been a lot of years of people that have paved the path to enjoy the success that we do here today. And if you treat people right, we're going to get good kids that want to come here with both character and ability. And so with our culture, it's about treating people right, and it's about treating everybody right, teaching the right things and doing the right things. And if we can understand that doing the right things is an all the time thing, then we've got a pretty good opportunity here to continue to grow as an organization. And on the ice, we've broken franchise records the last 2 years, and then this year arguably our best season ever up until this point in December here. And we just truly believe that that's a result of good kids wanting to be a part of what we've got going on here in Bonnyville.
When you hear the word Pontiacs, what does that mean to you?
It means pride in every single thing that we do, and pride to have the appreciation that so many founding fathers and people that have been with the organization before my time, and I've been here now 5 years, of everything we do, and that just carries on and exemplifies the respect that you have to have in that pride. Privilege, it means privilege to be involved in this organization and enjoy everything that the organization supplies. We've got world-class facilities here, but just the privilege to know that there's not all organizations will treat your players as well as we treat our guys and provide them with the facilities that we have. And then responsibility to stand on the shoulders of those who came before us to make sure that we represent ourselves and we feel privileged by the way we play and by the way we act in the community. And those things drive our culture to the way we want to reflect it as treating people right and then making sure that every day we have an opportunity and an obligation to treat people right as well.
Rick, congratulations on all the success you've had, and I can tell all the success you'll have in the future. Yeah. I commend you for what you're doing here. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here.
All
right. Coming up, we talk with someone instrumental in helping Lloydminster acquire a new brand of female hockey, one sure to keep the area's great female talent playing right here in Lloydminster. Welcome back to New Cap Sports Year in Review. For years, Daryl Wagner's been the man behind Lloydminster minor hockey, and in 2016, he had the pleasure of witnessing the midget AAA Bobcats play for a national title and the Steelers female franchise hit the ice for the first time. Daryl, first of all, let's just talk about some of the successes you've had this year with Lloydminster minor hockey.
Well, probably the biggest success we had in Lloyd this year was being awarded our female franchise. Hockey Alberta made us reapply to host a AAA female team and midget AA team and a new bantam system. So very successful in getting awarded all three of the franchises for this year.
Let's talk about that Steelers a little bit more, the Steelers franchise. I actually talked to some of the girls the other day at the elite level. How do you think that program is going to really kind of develop female hockey in this region?
I think it's huge to the development. I mean, and also having success. I mean, with us, if we wouldn't have got the program here, our girls would having to bill it, travel too far. So I think it's important for us, and we've seen it this year in our female program where we were fielding 2 teams at every level below the Steelers. So that's exciting for us.
What are some of the challenges you faced this year?
Challenges we faced this year, of course, was the downturn in the economy. We made some adjustments. My board put in some fee structure stuff, and that's been challenging. But we were good. Our numbers actually went up. We're up 30 kids over last year's total, so that's exciting. With that comes, where do we put them?
One of the successes I know you had in 2016 was the midget AAA boys team, and what they did going to the TELUS Cup. You know, what is having a program like that, what does that mean for minor hockey in this area?
You know what, it's huge. Having a team be that successful, going and participating in a national championship, it just makes the kids that are eligible to try out for those teams want to come to Lloydminster and play hockey here. It strengthens those teams, but it also strengthens all of our teams below those levels because there's less Lloydminster kids playing on the AAA team, Thus, they're playing maybe AA or A hockey, which strengthens all of our programs.
This is a real hockey market here, and I've heard that numerous times. Do you think that having a program that does something like that, that gets to that level at the TELUS Cup, do you think it put Lloydminster on the map?
Oh, absolutely. I think that in conjunction with some of the other things that Lloydminster Minor Hockey does. We have an extensive development program for all of our minor hockey teams. We have a coach mentorship and development program as well. So, we're kind of taking the step forward on that, saying we got to educate our coaches, we got to educate our players, and continue building successful teams and programs. I think it's more about building a successful program. If you build the program properly, the teams will be successful.
And I know this next team isn't necessarily part of minor hockey, but the Lloydminster Bobcats Junior A club, because the coach from the midget AAA team went there, Travis Clayton. What have you seen in Travis that really makes you think that the Bobcats can be successful, considering what he did for the AAA team?
Yeah, I just think that Travis is a great coach. I mean, this year, both teams, the AAA midgets and the Junior A Bobcats, are struggling a little bit this year. It's a growth period for both of them. But I think Travis instilled, I don't want to call it a work ethic or a belief that he will be successful. The Junior A team will be successful, and our legacy with the midget AAA, they'll come around and be a successful team as well.
Off camera, we were talking about a new initiative you have coming up that's pretty important for just getting some players that might be recognized weekly. Let's talk about that a bit.
Lloyd Minor Hockey just partnered with Sport Check on Player of the Week award. We're starting it next week. It's for grassroots minor hockey teams. So we've just working on the criteria to have players nominated and receive a weekly award from Sport Check. And then we will do something at our AGM at the end of the year for the overall player within Lloyd Minor Hockey. So that's exciting to do that.
I know it's exciting for you. How exciting do you think it is for players who are going to learn about this initiative?
Well, I think it's going to be good because the criteria we're putting down isn't based on you scored the most points in a game. That's not the criteria we're looking at. We're looking at kind of the all-around athlete, the all-around player, hardest working kid, the kid, it's going to be exciting for them.
It's interesting you say that because in sports so many times emphasis is put on wins and losses. So how important do you think it is that you're emphasizing something different, sportsmanship, how hard you play, how much you enjoy the game? That's important.
Well, I think it's critical because you're right. Hockey success is measured by wins and losses, and the best player scores the most points. And we've got to change that mentality and that philosophy because it's about fun, it's about developing skills, life lessons, and everything. And I think as an association, we've been moving towards that, and this just helps us solidify that statement.
Up next on NewCap's Sports Year in Review, Alan Rogan discusses the up and down year that was Lakeland Wrestlers Athletics and the new challenges facing 3 teams on the ice. Welcome back. Lakeland College Athletics 2015-2016 season came with high hopes and dashed dreams. We chatted with the school's athletic director, Alan Rogan, about all things Rustlers, including some insight into new programs the school's trying to develop. Al, thank you very much for taking some time to speak with me today. I really appreciate it. Let's talk about 2016 as a whole and some of the successes that you've had here at Lakeland College.
It's another one of those years, at the beginning of the year, you have great aspirations for all your teams. And our men's soccer team, they start off really strong, and the injury bug kind of bit them, which is unfortunate because they had a really strong program this year. They possibly could have made it all the way to nationals, I think. But just, key injuries at the wrong time of the season impacted them, and, they didn't quite make it where they wanted to. Our women's soccer program definitely growing, getting better every year. We're fairly happy with that. And the rest of our programs, they're sort of in session right now. They're halfway through their seasons. They're improving, and they've all really still have a shot at making the playoffs.
Women's basketball, last year, going back to last year, 24-0, missed out on a national championship run. When you look at the team that you have this year compared to last year, what sort of similarities do you see between those two?
Similarities, they've got that passion, right? They want to play. Coach King does a really good job of getting them to buy into the Rustler family, the Rustler work ethic, and that's what we work with all of our programs to ensure that they try and do with the student athletes is they play harder when they feel they're part of something bigger than just themselves.
I also wanted to talk a little bit about the curling teams as well. I know that you've kind of been decimated in that regard because you've lost all the players except for three returning players. How much stress does that put on an entire program when you only have those players returning?
Well, it can be good and bad. It just depends, right? The key players they have coming back, two skips and a third. So if you have those are the players that are coming back, it's great to have that leadership coming back. And if those are your key players from the previous year and those are the ones you want to build around, then you can build almost a brand new team from the ground up. We have two regional competitions to get ready for the championships, and they'll grow faster and quicker. So we're expecting big things from the next go around. Our mixed team almost has guaranteed themselves a place at the championships, and men is just on the outside looking in. They should have a good shot, and the women, they can get there too. They just need to have a good second championship.
A lot of your programs, it seems like Lakeland continually has success in most of the programs that they're putting out there. What does that say about the coaching that you have here at the school?
We're very fortunate, actually. When I first started in my role, we had almost a revolving door of coaches to some degree, and we've been able to really get the coaches to buy into Lakeland College, our athletic program. I'll say we probably have some of the hardest working coaches in the league. They dedicate a ton of time, they volunteer a ton of time to ensure the student athletes get the best experience possible. And if the student athletes enjoy where they're at, they're going to remain here for as long as possible. So our coaches, they're a massive piece to why we have success.
I know that you have somebody that you know quite well that's hoping that the programs here at Lakeland expand to golf in the near future. But what beyond that, I know you're continually working to try and expand the athletics that are offered at the school. Is there anything coming up that you could be expanding on?
We're always looking at adding sports. Once again, it takes a little bit of collaboration. I think anything that we add next, like if we're looking at adding something like a women's hockey program, we've dabbled with that option in the past. We definitely need to have the support of our community, which I know hockey is a big thing in Vermilion and Lloydminster for sure. And I think a women's hockey program would definitely go around here. But to run programs, it takes money, and it takes time, and it takes facilities, and these are all pieces we'd have to make sure that they're ready and we're able to do it. If we're going to do something here at Lakeland, we want to make sure we do it well. We don't want to do things halfway here. We want to make sure we put a good product out there and continue to grow that product. So those are key things that we have to make sure are in place before we start anything new.
Just for a moment, I want to talk about recruiting. On your women's basketball team, you have a couple players from California. How does the college go about recruiting players to come here? I could think that a lot of players wouldn't think that necessarily Lloydminster or Vermilion would be their first choice of places to come. So how do you get talented people to come here and play the athletics here?
That goes right back to our coaches. Our coaches are passionate about their programs. They want to see success. They want to see Lakeland succeed. They want to see the program succeed. I don't think coaches at this level coach just for the fun of it. They coach. They want to win. And they want to win in all aspects, whether it's academics or whether it's on the competitive side. So they seek out players. They'll do recruitment trips down to the States if they have a few kids they see that want to come. They will contact student athletes through email that they hear about down in the States or in other countries, and try to get them to come to Lakeland College. As you said, Lakeland, Lloydminster, Vermilion, they're smaller communities. They're not the big cities of the world like Edmonton and Calgary, so our coaches have to work a fair bit harder than a lot of other coaches to recruit student athletes to come here. But once they get here, they love the community, they love the college.
Your women's basketball team is leaving for Cuba in a couple of days. I know that their players are really excited about that. How excited are you as an athletic director for them to go there and do some of the things they're doing, mainly the humanitarian effort that they have?
Oh, absolutely. When we can send our student athletes out there, they're flying the Lakeland flag. So what they do down there, if we've had our student athletes from all programs go to different communities across Canada, mostly the U.S. And we get emails back from the communities they've been in saying, what great ambassadors they are for your institution, what great ambassadors they are for your athletic program. That's all great stuff because those things just help Lakeland recruit students and student athletes to our programs, and they have a great experience. Our student athletes who graduate will be our best recruiters.
Coming up on the other side, a local school's forming a sports dynasty right before our very eyes. We check in with Vince Oreo on the incredible success that is the Holy Rosary football program. Welcome back. For nearly 2 decades, Vince Oreo has been involved in high school football, and over the last 4 years, he's taken his Holy Rosary Raiders to the brink of provincial football glory. So what does the future hold for Raiders football? Have a watch. Vince, thanks very much for taking a few minutes today to sit down, chat about some football success.
Yeah.
Overall, the success you've had, what are some things that you found over the course of last year and even into this year's programs that's been successful for you?
Yeah, our kids have developed into committed football players. It's not just about a team; it's about a program, and I think we're graduating some high-quality kids that have a chance of playing at the next level.
When you say play at the next level, how many of your kids from this year's program do you expect to go on to play, say, university ball?
You know, if we had 5 go, I think that would be a pretty high number. I expect 3 to make the jump who have put in a significant amount of time and are willing to take the time to go to the next level. But I think we could have more, but I think 3 will actually do it.
Let's talk about your success, not only this year, but the success you've had over the last, say, 5 seasons even. 4 straight Alberta Bowl appearances. What is it that makes Holy Rosary such a dominant football program?
I think it's the system. It's the kids that are in the system. It's committed coaches. We spend a lot of time focusing on the weight room and the mental side of the game film, and then the on-field product. So it's not just about practice and play. There's a lot more to it. There's a commitment that kids have to agree to be a part of, and when they come here, they get a tremendous football opportunity.
I know it was like when I went to high school. It was tough to be mentally focused on any sport. And you mentioned the mental part of it. How do you keep young people so mentally focused on the sport that they're involved with?
You challenge them, and you can't be static. You have to continue to push them. So like this year, we challenged ourselves and picked up some exhibition games against quality teams that are powerhouses in the province, and we pushed our kids to that level, and they rose to the challenge. But that's what we want to do every year: is not be complacent, not stay in our league. We want to branch out and play as many teams as we can.
You mentioned off camera that you're going to lose roughly 15 seniors this year. You said that happens year after year. How do you continue to put out the product that you do on the football field, considering every year you're turning over those players?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to lose those kids, and you always think, how are we going to replace them? But the effort that the seniors put us in positions throughout the year where we can put backups in, so they get some quality reps, so they're ready to go the next year. If we were in close games every game of the year, backups wouldn't get a chance. But a lot of games, our backups are getting in full second half, so they're getting some quality game time.
There's something to be said in professional sports where having veteran leadership is important for teams that win championships. It's not really spoken about in these ranks because they may not call them veterans, but how important are those senior kids to how they help the kids under them prepare?
Yeah, well, when they're in grade 10, some kids get a chance to play in grade 10. Some don't. Some have to learn and watch and kind of hone their craft a bit. But when you have kids that are 3-year players, they set the example for the new kids coming up. So they carry on the traditions and the customs and the culture of the football team. So when you have a solid grade 12 group, a solid veteran group, it means your next year is going to be successful too because of what they leave behind, the tradition they leave behind.
The Alberta Bowl, I haven't managed to pick up a win there in the last little while. What is it you think you need to do to get over that hump?
We got to continue playing tougher teams. In 2015, we stayed in our league, and when we got to provincial final, we weren't ready for the speed of the game. This year, like I said, we played a couple tougher games, and we got to provincial final, and I still say we beat ourselves. A couple of mistakes, gave up 14 points off of turnovers, and at the end of the day, that was the difference. So I think we were there. We were close. We closed the gap between us and Cochrane. It was a 9-point game, but really it was anybody's game. In 2014, when we won, we just had a solid crew of kids, and a lot of the guys that were big playmakers in that game were a part of three Alberta Bowl appearances.
When you think about starting a new season with these new players, Does it feel daunting to you, or does it feel daunting to even the kids who have been here already to get back to that Alberta Bowl? Does it, when you look at it, you think, whoa, it's such a...
There's pressure, right? There's pressure to maintain that consistency. We've had a 12-man team for 9 years. We've been in the Alberta Bowl 5 times. We've won 4 league championships and won 1 provincial championship. So there's pressure to get there because of I guess the high standard that's been set by the kids that have gone through this program. So what we do as a coaching staff is, we look at the talent we have, and we'll base our systems around the kids that we have. We're not just going to stay with one mold or one train of thought every year. We're going to switch things up to make our kids successful. So depending on what we have for a team is how we'll develop Owen defensive systems, and we'll put our kids in a position to be successful.
We hope you've enjoyed New Cap TV's Sports Year in Review. Remember, our local athletes always need your support, so make it a priority to get out and watch some great young talent the area has to offer. I know I will. Happy holidays, and we'll see you in 2017.